pleasant good morning to our viewers all over the world and also here in the Caribbean. Good morning to you all worldwide. A pleasant good day to you all. We're happy and excited to be here again with you as we look to preview West Indies versus USA match that starts tonight at 8:30 p.m. local time there in Barbados, 7:30 p.m. Jamaican time, and also 8:30 p.m. there in the United States. Want to welcome our fans from Sri Lanka, from Bangladesh, India, Saudi Arabia, all over the world that you're tuning in from, even from Georgetown, Guyana, and just about everywhere else that you are tuning in from. A pleasant good morning to you all, and it's an honor to be back on here with you all as we look to discuss the match against England and also looking forward to this important Super 8 encounter against the United States of America, where that we're co-hosting this World Cup with. I have, per usual, with me the executive chair of the Cricket Hall of Fame, which is the proud sponsor of this T20 World Cup 2024 West Indies, as we deliver these shows to you each and every week covering West Indies in this important World Cup. Looking forward to them winning a third time, becoming the first team to have done it on home soil. I have also with me the honorary secretary of the Cricket Hall of Fame, also a consultant with our academy based in New Jersey, journalist and friend, Mr. Dale Brown. We also have with us recently nominated and slated to be inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame and now living in Southern California, Mr. Dennis E. We thank him for being with us again. We also have the Hall of Famer and sports journalist across discipline, Mr. John Milburn, also a cricket analyst with us, and we thank him for joining us again. And last but not least, we have with us Mr. Domindo Sampat from Sri Lanka, specialized in covering associate cricket, and he will be giving us some thoughts on West Indies tour of Ireland. That's the academy team and how they are going there. We'll be gauging his thoughts on associate cricket as to do with the United States and other cricketing nations that play associate cricket and what he expect the ICC to do with him, to do with that level of cricket. We'll be gauging his thoughts on the ill-fated campaign of Sri Lanka as well. So stay tuned as we will look to deliver to you a very compact show this morning. And as you know, I am your host, Junior Codlin. Now I'll ask Mr. Domindo Sampat that is on your camera just to say hello, and then we'll hear from the others in that order. Mr. Sampat, say hello to the viewers, and then the others will come in thereafter.
Yeah, hello to everyone, and good morning from the Caribbean, and I think it's a good evening from Sri Lanka here. But anyway, no problem, and it's also I must have to say that my pleasure to join this program with, and big hello to everyone who participating this conversation. Thank you very much for that. First of all,
Executive Chair.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, panelists all over the world. Hello. It's another pleasant opportunity to talk cricket with our friends here on the Zoom program.
Good morning to you all from Southern California. Once again, welcome to all our listeners and viewers wherever you are in the world. We are very appreciative of your company, and we thank you for sharing your time with us. Once again, a good morning to my fellow panelists.
Very good morning to my fellow panelists and also to our viewers wherever you are. Hope you'll enjoy the next few minutes of our 2024 Cricket World Cup discussion here on the West Indies Cricket Development Academy channel. Welcome and stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dale Brown, and I greet you from the Garden State of New Jersey, USA. I expect you to find our conversation this morning informative, and you will leave knowing a little bit more about the cricket and cricket strategy going forward. Thank you.
Absolutely. Once again, the Cricket Hall of Fame, as you can see on our screen, is our main sponsor, and they are based and located in Hartford, Connecticut. They are the first in the world in as it regards to cricket for giving fame to past cricketers and also to those that work diligently in making the game better. And we are proud to be in association with the Cricket Hall of Fame and their executive director, Mr. Michael Chambers. We also want to say to our viewers from all over the world to consider making a donation to our academy as we look to continue to bring relief to less fortunate cricketers, to create opportunities, lasting opportunities for them. And you can donate to us in many ways. And you can donate bat, you can donate balls, you can donate pads, you can donate the essential things that has to do with cricket, and especially we are greatly in need of batting cage at the moment and cameras to set up at various areas to help our cricketers to be better. And please consider making a donation in that regard, and we look forward to hearing from you. You can reach us by dialing the number that you will see shortly on your screen, and you can also type in your WhatsApp that asks Meta or search AI, type West Indies Cricket Development Academy. It will give you information on the academy, and it will also lead you to our website. If you want to send us an email, please do so by emailing us at West Indies Academy at zuzumail.com. We look forward to hearing from you when you do. This morning, as we meet to discuss, we'll hear the thoughts of the Sri Lankan a little later on in this show, as we meet now to talk about the defeat that the West Indies suffer at the hands of England and what they did not. It was obvious that a bad decision was made, and that decision, Honorary Secretary, is to leave out Obey McCoy and bring in Romario Shepherd, that many in the space said was very, very destructive. Your thoughts on that?
Yes, good morning again, Mr. Codlin. Yes, the selection of the team was very questionable because we know that Shepherd had a very eventful couple of days where he had to fly back to Guyana to be with his wife and newborn child, and not a problem at all with that. Where the problem came in is that his replacement, Mr. McCoy, showed that he belonged in that 11. And he should have kept his place in that 11. For whatever reason, they decided not to take into consideration the physical fatigue that Mr. Shepherd would have had to endure and the mental fatigue that he would have had to endure in those last couple of days. And instead of rushing him back into the team, They should have been patient, practice patient, and tell him, take your time, meet the team in Barbados, and we will move on from there. But there's no reason for him to rush to return and put himself under unnecessary and additional duress and stress to come back and try to perform at this level, because he was already under scrutiny with his bowling performance. Because as one of the bowlers, his bowling is, if he's not going to contribute to the bowling unit, then there's no point in him playing. And McCoy showed and proved himself that he was a superior bowler in this format to him, and much more effective in especially going up against England. What surprised me even more is that we played a 5-match series against England. Shepherd was selected for the first game against England of those 5 games, and they immediately replaced him with Gudakesh Moti because he was ineffective against the English players. And so looking back at that data, somebody should have realized and known that it's really a risky thing to play him. And it was more of an emotional response, where perhaps they felt that they were obligated to play him, seeing that he rushed home and rushed back in time for the game. But it was not a very emotional, intelligent decision on whoever made that decision. It was not done for the right reasons, and you had a more than adequate replacement for him.
Absolutely. Michael, Executive Chair Chambers, how disappointed are you with the performance, and in a narrow window, with the performance of Romario Shepherd? It is proven that there are a lot of things that goes into West Indies losing against England the other night. But the number one thing was the ineffective bowling of Romario Shepherd. Your thoughts on that?
Good morning, sir, and thank you. Yes, it was disappointing because, as you know, my specialty is mind power techniques. What Mr. Shepherd went through to go and experience the birth of his child, as Mr. Brown just said, that was a traumatic experience. And you don't bring persons into a team who has just experienced trauma without giving them some treatment. So we were not expecting Mr. Shepherd to play. As you all know, I was rooting for Shamari Joseph, but Mr. McCoy was there and he performed excellent. Why did we move him out of the team? And as everybody remember, I was rooting for Shea Hope to come in for the opening batsman, Charles. So those were the only 2 little disappointments that I had. And if we are not mentally prepared now for the US game, we can look forward to another defeat. I called it that someone was going to win by 5 wickets. I said if West Indies had played Shea Hope, we would have beaten England by 5 wickets. We didn't play Shea Hope, we lost by 5 wickets. We have to be very careful how we go into the US game. Thank you.
Mr. Eat, your thoughts on Romario Shepherd and the defeat to England? Was it expected, and wasn't it not, did the fans go in with their expectations too high?
Mr. Codlin, the West Indies failed to dominate and challenged England. And they highlight the fact that the West Indies need good strike force team of bowlers like we had in previous years. Romario Shepherd's position in the team if you recall from our previous discussion, was one that was very contentious in that we calculated that West Indies had tweaked the side that played against Afghanistan. And that was the team that many of us, or at least some of us in the previous discussion, wanted to see, with the possibility of Shea Hope coming in for Johnson Charles. Now, in my opinion, Johnson Charles faced the approximately 6 overs batting to produce 38 runs. Now, you do the maths and you will see that, yes, he did give us 38 runs, but look at how much overs or how many balls he ate up in order to produce that. Whereas King, before his injury, King was at the strike rate of 180 plus, 176 before he got injured. So what that's telling me that if Hope and King had been the openers, I would have expected that we would have done a lot better in terms of what we had how we started off. Now, if we remember, Phil Salt played against the West Indies in December of 2023. And at that time, he scored a century, 116, 119, not out, when England defeated the West Indies by 75 runs. We, the West Indies, did not learn the lesson. We did not do our homework, and we produced bowlers that were totally ineffective. And all of our bowlers did not live up to the occasions. If we recall, we have a strike bowler in Alzari Joseph. And Alzari Joseph was bowler number 5, I believe. He comes on when the ball in a night match, wet, dew, damaged, and he comes on to bowl his overs after everybody else and after the ball has seen better damage. Why do we have a strike bowler and we're not using him in the opening matches? In addition to that, we needed a Shamar Joseph or Obed McCoy to have been there attacking the thing. We did not prepare. We played badly. Our team we selected was not correct, and hence we paid the penalty. Back to you, Mr. Codlin.
Absolutely. John Melbourne Hall of Famer, your opening thoughts on the West Indies defeat and the performance of Romario Shepherd.
Once again, a very good morning to our panelists and viewers. Yes, Romario Shepherd gave up some big runs in that 16th over, 30 runs. However, I want to kind of go back to West Indies batting. After 10 overs, West Indies were 80 without loss. And yes, they had lost Brandon King to injury. And I kind of wondered if the loss of Brandon King to injury had maybe some kind of negative psychological impact on the team. But at 80 without loss, after 10 overs, I was looking for 200 runs plus. Now, you see between overs 10 and 15, West Indies scored, I think, like 55 runs, and between overs 15 and 20, 43 runs, which at between 15 and 20, they should have been motoring towards a bigger score. And I think they were lucky to get 180. As far as Romario Shepherd is concerned with the bowling, yes, I couldn't understand why he was put back in the team ahead of Obed McCoy. And if you look at pure statistics, Obed McCoy has a better bowling rate average than Romario Shepherd in 2020 cricket. So, I just wondered why he was not used. And then when you look at the bowling of West Indies, Azari Joseph had 2 overs to go at the 16th over. So did Russell, and Chase had 1 over. So, I kind of wondered why the captain went back to Azar Joseph when he had problems in that last over against New Zealand. and we were kind of sweating in that last over if New Zealand was going to win the game in that last over.
Not New Zealand, England. We're speaking about England.
Yeah, no, but he bowled that last over in the New Zealand game.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yes, we have been calling for Obed McCoy to be in that starting 11, as well as Shea Hope. And somebody said this. I heard this last night, and I'm going to share it with our panelists. And the person said, Romario should be shepherded out for the real McCoy. The king has fallen, so we need hope.
All right.
Back to you,
Yes.
Junior.
We'll come back to that in a moment. We have our Sri Lankan friend with us, Mr. Sampat, and he's not with us for long. He's with us just for 15 minutes, and we'll take some time to gauge his thoughts, and then we'll rally back to our discussion as it regards to our game against England and looking forward to the United States game. Mr. Domindo Sampat, you're in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka's performed horrible in the World Cup. They were champions, and after beating the West Indies in the 2014 semi-final, and they went on to win that tournament. And since then, Sri Lanka failed to rise to the occasion. Even here in the Caribbean during the 2007 World Cup, they have done well to reach the final, which many believe that under the leadership of Kumar Sangakkara and the others, they should have, done better in beating Australia in that final. But unfortunately, they never did. But with the captaincy of Asaranga and the changes that takes place in Sri Lanka cricket, we have seen that your coach, Chris Silva, the former England coach, is now booted out. What's the feeling for Sri Lanka? You're a journalist there, you're on the ground. How does the people feel about the awful performance of their team in this World Cup, in the 2024 World Cup hosted by the United States? Are you there?
Domingo might be muted.
He's muted. Dominda, you're muted. You're still muted.
Oh, now okay, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's back again. Very good morning for all the viewers from the Caribbean islands, and good evening for the Sri Lankans. Yeah, if I come back to your fans, and as you tell, it's a truly horrible cricket tournament. This is, even if it World Cup or anyhow, it's completely out of control, and everything is completely out of control, because we can't blame always for the coaches and their staff, because as a mentor. Sana Jayasuriya, legendary Sana Jayasuriya also with the team. Chris Silverwood done an absolutely remarkable, brilliant job for Sri Lankan cricket in the recent past. It's not all about the coach's fault or managing staff fault, or players also have a big responsibility to protect their country's reputation. In the recent past, Sri Lanka cricket is only it, you imagine how USA and the best example is the Nepali cricket team who participated and yesterday went back to home. How how terrible opponent they are for the big names in this World Cup. They are very marginally lost to South Africa. Even wash it by the rain against us, Sri Lanka. I think they could have play, and definitely we lost to them because they are that type of. Nepal is very strong side at the moment, because we cannot say we can't blame for the Nepali players because they are learning cricket from the last 15, 20 years. They also cannot say anything. Just you can imagine what I'm saying. They also cannot say anything. We are still learning. They are warmly welcomed yesterday in the Kathmandu airport. I saw that photographs also from the Nepal Cricket Association side. So that means there are people believing these guys are not losing for easily. They are believing they can do definitely someday with the little bit of experience are going out of control. So they are losing the games against, unfortunately, against Bangladesh and South Africa. Otherwise, you can imagine that if they beat those nations, they can definitely. It's not easy to stop in the Super 8 for sure, because they have that talent. In last couple of years, I will move to Sri Lankan side, but can I give you small example from the Nepali side how they play? Last few decades, they are using Pubudu Dasanayaka from Sri Lanka. Some Dave Watmo is a legendary coach from. He also coached for the Sri Lankan side in '96 World Cup win. Dave Watmo and some other coaches they are using. I think recently they are using for this World Cup as a mentor former West Indian player. They are using them and they are taking that advantage to improve their cricket. As a Nepali side, as a newcomer, as an associate member, we have to appreciate their performance, because if they beat definitely South Africa and Bangladesh, their past two matches, I must say I know who are them, because I have a close relationship with the Nepali cricket as an associate writer. I know where are they and I know what they can do. Unfortunately, they are lost two games, and that's a very bad luck turn with them. If we move to Sri Lankan side, we are over 100 years international cricket history holders. After I don't know how can I explain that, because we have lots of domestic players, strong domestic structure, and in the past and nowadays everything is going. I don't know how can I explain this, because if you can imagine, if things are going perfectly and correctly, the things are pop out with the best things. So you can imagine why Sri Lankan are not performing well, because they are. I heard some before some selection, some question mark selection also before the tour, this World Cup, and after that they are practicing, and I think I saw some practice session also they're missing, maybe due to rain or maybe some traveling disturbance. I don't know what is the inside of it, and no, completely from the starting day of the tour, I know that I just imagine that this World Cup is not perfect one for Sri Lanka, because from the start to end they are struggling. I don't know what is the inside going, because from the perform I can see it's not. I cannot say I cannot put them into the Nepal seat, because they are playing very poor cricket recently. Because big names are there, they have a talent. I don't know what is the reason, because they have no injuries, no any other sickness. they are free to play cricket. I don't know what working there in their mind, or I don't know how can I explain that. And if I have a time, we can leave it, and I can move to what is the what is the process of today's match, and West Indies versus USA game.
Right. We don't
Yeah.
have a lot of time, and we want to give you 15 minutes, which you have took quite a lot just now. But just to look towards the US game in a brief way, how pleased are you that the United States would have reached this round, the second round, and potentially if they beat the West Indies tonight, they could be setting up, um, beat the West Indies, have a very, very good game against England, and net run rate could put them effectively into the semi-final.
Yeah.
If there's an issue going forward. How pleased are you with associate cricket's development, mainly the United States, being given a chance and taken it with both hands? Your final thoughts with that, and if you can elaborate also and touch on West Indies Academy tour of Ireland, and give us some update as it regards to that, because we could not cover the World Cup and cover the academy there in Ireland, but we know you watch it and follow it closely, and we would like some thoughts from you as it regards to that, as we're looking to give you 15 minutes. And so now in your last segment, take a shot at it, and let's hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, first we can move to West Indies USA game tonight.
Yes.
So sorry, this morning. Sorry for tonight. This morning. So that's completely. It's West Indies might face. I believe West Indies might face. Seems like bit of heavy artillery fire from the US side. I believe because we cannot say USA is associate side, but we cannot compare with other associate, like because USA side is completely full of professional players who are representing formerly representing that all might be all players from the test nation, like Gauss from South Africa, who played a wonderful knock against also against his home country, last game around 80, I think 87 from 47 balls or something around. He hammered away up against South African side. They are marginally low. They lost very marginally by 18 runs that game. So Steven Taylor opener, that Aaron Jones, all are fully fit to beat West Indies, because I just normally we can say associate nation USA, but they are not completely. They are not associate side at the moment, because they are fully professional cricketers. So for the West Indies, this is not easy game, because I think USA giving their full strength and full fight to finish this game with the good run rate, and the mostly they will definitely using Steven Taylor and Aaron Jones, and from the batting lineup, from Gauss from the middle order, and everyone, Netra Walkar from former Indian under 19 cricketer. They are brilliantly performing well, not only World Cup in the recent past cricket, while they beaten Bangladesh by 2-1 in their T20 series just before the World Cup. So as if I talking about the associate countries development, I think ICC in a very weak position. I must have to say that ICC in a very weak position to develop associate cricket. I think we know, all the fans know, if we mention about the associate, they just know only who the nations who are participating World Cups or qualifiers from the regions. From someone like, if you take from American region, that USA, like Bermuda, from Europe, Netherlands, Scotland, from Asia, they got Nepal and some other countries like Bhutan. But if we're talking about development of that associate cricket, that's not all about, because I think around many countries now playing international, after ICC giving international status for the many nations, they are playing. But look, just I can talk about bit of about the how international cricket running nowadays beside of the big nation. I'm talking about the small new coming nation. Look at the quality of this cricket level at the moment. Look at where is the world record are breaking around the world. What is the quality of that cricket? I'm not blaming anyone, but I think ICC must have to work to recorrect these things, because a few days ago, world fastest T20 100 came from the Estonian cricket. That Indian guy around 28 or 27 balls up against Cyprus side. They are 6 games T20 international series. But if you saw that condition of the game, and how I saw that small video clip from the Twitter. Look how, I'm not blaming the batsman, is weak batsman. He's from India. I think he's Indian origin. He played very good shots, and it's brilliant knock. But if the bowling side is strong side, he will definitely score around 50, 60 runs in that type of wicket, because that also artificial wicket. I want to suggest ICC, please. It's not the quality cricket nowadays are running. You must work hard to give at least one complete international level cricket ground for the cricket stadium for the each and every associate member of who are positively and who are working hard to improve the cricket. Especially, I can move to associate nation from the Pacific Island. Vanuatu. Unfortunately, we miss world class 2 players from the Vanuatu island who are eligible to play any nation in the world in the white ball format, like Patrick Matautawa and Nalin Jim Nimpiko. Those players are very strong. The fans are very unfortunate to show their performance in the international arena, because that's also a very big fault from the ICC in that qualifier round and qualification events, and they must make a battle between strong teams, because as an example, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, Japan, and some other Samoa or Philippines, they are only battling for the World Cup. That's very easy to come Vanuatu, or definitely Vanuatu or Papua New Guinea are always coming through to the World Cup global qualifiers, because they are playing, but they came like automatically, because what the quality of that qualifier cricket.
So you're saying the opportunities are not spread out equally for other associates.
Because
I would like for you to elaborate some more on that, but we'll have to bring you back on another time, because we are pressed for time at the moment. But we want you to touch a little on the West Indies Academy tour to Ireland and give us some perspective on that, and then we'll have to leave it there with you for today. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. And I just I keenly watching whatever cricket happening around the world. I'm not, as I said, I'm not the franchise cricket lover, or who are trying to push this game for the black market. I'm just trying to talk about, and I'm just trying to take this game away from them into the right track. I'm always trying to push this game to the right track, because everyone know it's slowly going. Unfortunately, I love West Indian cricket because West Indies are not the one country from the world. That West Indies are only few nations are involving to play international cricket from the world. This is the only nation that happens. So historic nation. Unfortunately, we are missing our historic things from the world, and now I'm fighting back to from to take that momentum back into the international cricket. So that's the reason I'm telling I'm not for only for the Big Ten nation. I am for the whole cricket nation around the world, especially for the who need some support. So if I miss somewhere in the cricket today or tomorrow, that's a miracle, I think. So I'm following. I'm keenly touching with the Ireland, that West Indies Academy tour of Ireland. Look, there is no problem with the Academy's boys batting lineup. I saw a few hundred scored, and always that 50 over games they are scored around 250 runs and up to 250 runs. And look how that Irish emerging side chase it. Their batting is also condition also helping them. But look, seems like not well enough bowling side for the West Indian Academy side. So unfortunately, this is academy means they are just learners. No problem about that, and no doubt about that. With the bowling collapse, and they will learn something in they are if the academy participating this type of tour in the future, and something they will improve in the participating this type of events.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely. Domindo
West Indies,
Domindo Sampat from Sri Lanka. Thank you for your thoughts today, and we look to engage you as the ladies get ready for the T20 series there against your country.
In Sri Lanka.
We'll engage you on that as we will commit a show towards that, and we'll engage you again on that. At the moment, that's all the time we can give to you, because we need to look ahead now to the with the rest of the panelists towards the game with the United States. So thank you for coming on, and
thanks.
Thank you. We sure will touch base with you once again in the future. As we now look towards the game with the United States, it's worth to visit once again some of the discussions that we had. Honorary Secretary of the Cricket Hall of Fame, Mr. Brown, many people are calling for the head of Johnson Charles, and Johnson Charles this, Johnson Charles that, and he did not come into the World Cup with any great form, but as we can see that he's the second leading run scorer for the West Indies in this World Cup so far, behind Uncle Nicholas Pooran. So are those in the social media space and in other places being too unfair to Johnson Charles?
Thank you, Mr. Codlin. Johnson Charles is a curious case. There are lots of points that can be made for his exclusion, but at the end of the day, he he makes the runs, and we may not like the way he make them or whatever. We don't know. But if you take, for example, last night, he made his runs off 34 deliveries. Nicholas Puran made his runs off 32 deliveries. They basically scored at the same rate. Charles was at 111.76 and Puran was at 112. There's no difference there.
That's
It's
right.
marginal, minimal. And when you criticize a one person, you have to make sure you do it fairly, because Puran was not the Puran in the match before, and the swinging and missing, which both him and Charles did, and eating up of dot balls, because that's another thing. Almost 45% of the deliveries which the West Indies faced, 51 out of 120, they did not score from those deliveries. And this doesn't include wides and everything like that and no balls or whatever. You cannot be successful. You will not be successful on a consistent basis if you just keep swinging for the fences. Because what happens when that tactic does not work? And it's not only the Johnson Charles and the energy or negative energy that he brings to the team, but others who are experienced and very, very successful in, for example, the IPL, like a Nicholas Puran. You talk, but you must execute what you're saying. You realize that they're bowling outside the off stump at you, so you cannot swing the ball over deep mid wicket or over mid on. You have to adjust your batting stance so that you can reach the balls outside the off stump. So Johnson Charles, yes, he deserves all the criticism that we'll throw at him, but others in the team deserve that same amount of level of criticism. Because again, as you point out, Puran, and I think he's just behind Rutherford, maybe a run or a few runs behind Rutherford. They are the leading run scorers for the team, and it's difficult just looking at this now and saying this guy is not doing his job when others are there not performing either.
He gets the runs ugly, but he gets them and they contribute towards the win up until the other night when we lost.
Yes, and in saying that he contributes, we also have to remember now batting in partnerships and the effect that the one partner can have on the other.
Absolutely.
And I will share this story. I remember Sir Garfield Sobers stating that when certain West Indian when he was playing, when certain batsmen were batting, he never watched the game. He would go and sleep. You know, when the West Indies batted and certain of the West Indians were batting, he would never go he would never watch them. He would go and sleep. Why did he do that? He said he did not want to see them struggling out there. Because when you see a man struggling, you think the bowling is better than it actually is. So when you're batting at the one end and somebody watching you, edging balls and doing whatever, it can have a negative effect on those persons too. So we also have to consider that watching players and watching them struggle can be dangerous. But that being said, I would have expected those players like a Puran to overcome that and play his own game. He's coming off a 98, which was a fantastic inning. To me, nothing should have been shaking his confidence in any way, shape, or form. And he was one of those that, ate up that balls. Both him and Johnson Charles last night.
Absolutely. Mr. Eat, the West Indies during the game against Afghanistan conceded 30 at dot balls, and against England 55. 55 balls that were not scored after almost 10 overs, never outscored the West Indies. And we have seen how detrimental that was the other night because they eat up so much that ball. And but Johnson Charles has to be said that he gets the runs and he caught absolutely good the other night. Something has changed with Johnson Charles. Are you prepared still to call for his head?
Well, to be kind, I'm not calling for his head. I'm simply asking that West Indies tweak the side and play the team that will produce the results we want. Now, Brother Dale mentioned the fact that Charles has scored relatively similar to Pooran in the match last night. But let's face it, over the number of matches that he's played, he has eaten up the lion's share of the bowling. And as a result, the other partner does not get the opportunity to move things along. In last night's situation, we had Brandon King. Brandon King scored 23 runs from 13 balls. That's a strike rate of 177. Now, if we had seen a strike rate like that from Johnson Charles last night, we'd certainly be looking at 250 plus. But most of the matches that he plays, he does take up a lot more of the balls and prevent the score from moving fast enough. Now, the other thing was that the number of dot balls last night is a reflection on the bowling of the Adil Rashid and Moin Ali. Remember, Rashid bowled 4 overs for 21 runs and Moin Ali 2 for 15, which shows that we West Indian batters were not able to take charge or handle those slow bowlers. Even so, when England batted, our most successful bowler of the night, in my opinion, was Chase. Chase bowled, what was it, 1 over or 2 overs for about 6 runs. And so it shows that when they brought in Shepherd on that third final over that he bowled, why wasn't consideration given to using Chase? He had shown that he had bowled 3 overs. Chase bowled 3 overs for 19 runs. That is something that if you're reading the game correctly, you should take into account. And the fact that you didn't do your homework against Phil Salt, remembering how he pulverized West Indies bowling the previous December when they when West Indies struggled and got beaten.
But the captain did say that the bowlers did not execute the given plan that was given to them for Salt. He did say that.
Well, I missed that part of the discussion there, but nonetheless, the bowlers are responsible in many ways for the performance as badly as it was. If you look at the overall bowling, and again, I still go back to the fact that why does Alzari Joseph, our premier strike bowler, not given his full quota of overs and not being used at the opening? Akil Hussain bowled 4 overs for 36. It's 9 runs roughly.
But Akil Hussain would not be the issue because Akil Hussain would have bowled consistently throughout this World Cup so far. It was Shepherd that partnered him opening the bowling. The scrutiny should fully be on Shepherd.
Yes, I'm saying to you that Akil bowled 4 for 35. And we have Romario Shepherd opening the bowling with Akil. Why not Alzari Joseph? Why not, even Gudakesh Moti, for example? the fact of the matter is we're not using Alzari Joseph how we should use him. And as a result, we're seeing that Alzari Joseph's bowling is not as penetrative and effective as it could be because he's coming on when the ball is, 10 overs old or more. And he doesn't get the movement that he would probably get with a new ball, and he's not as effective. So we have to rethink how we plan to attack our opponents and use the best strike force we have up front when we have the opportunity. Back to you, Mr. Codlin.
Absolutely. Mr. Hall of Famer Melbourne, with the, Johnson Charles being the second leading run scorer for the West Indies, would you rest him now in Barbados, bearing that this US game takes on a bit more importance because of the loss against England, and there needs now us going in with our strongest team, and there's no room now for experiment, and the order must be what it is, our best team, and starting the World Cup, beating New Zealand and performing admirably well against Afghanistan. It has to be argued that Johnson Charles is in our best 11 because of his production of runs, how ugly they came in this World Cup so far. He's the second leading run scorer for us. So to call for his head, would you join in saying Johnson Charles must go now when he never contribute to the defeat that we face against England the other night, and the need for us now to come strong against the United States? And like we send a message to the world through Uganda, we need to do the same to the US. Your thoughts on that, and articulate for the viewers the need for the West Indies to beat the United States and beat them well where run rate is concerned tonight.
Thank you so much, Junior. First of all,
and before you continue, as you talk, we'll show for our viewers some pictures on the screen. Go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, I don't think we should take the US lightly. First of all. Secondly, based on what has transpired so far, in my opinion, Johnson Charles is not the problem. In the game against England, when Johnson Charles was out, West Indies was 94 for 1. Between 94 for 1, and that was 1 ball in the 12th over. Between there and the 20th over, West Indies only scored 86 runs. The problem is the middle bottom that are supposed to be the power hitters, and the who had problems against Abdul Rashid and Moin Ali. So spin is spinning our batsmen. They are not able to compile runs in abundance when the spinners come on. And so they have the game tonight against the US. I don't know if the US have spinners that will bother them, but then they go on to Antigua, that I understand that pitch is a little slow, so they will encounter the South African spinners. So, but I don't, Johnson Charles to me is not the, you need Johnson Charles now at the top of the order, especially with King out. And probably Shea Hope is going to replace King at the opening slot. The other issue about Rutherford, not Rutherford, Romario Shepherd. And you know, let me just back up, since I mentioned Rutherford. You know, in the game against England, you lose Powell, Horan, and Russell in short order. And those are the power hitters that didn't drive the West Indies innings after the 15th over. So, as I say, Charles is not my problem. The problem is our middle order, which are supposed to be the power hitters, if they can put the runs on the board. Against the US, what do we do? If we win the toss, do you bat first or bowl? I would bowl. And then chase. Talking about chase. But that's my...
And try to hit it off in quick time.
Yes. Well, first of all, try to get them out for a reasonably low score and then knock it off for the last few wickets, you know.
Yes.
But as I say, we should not take the US lightly.
Yes.
And that's my take on it, Junior.
Mike Chambers, Executive Chair of the Cricket Hall of Fame for our viewers. Coach Darren Sammy speaking after the game against England and looking forward to the US game. This is what he said. This loss will not dampen our spirit. We still believe we have got a team that could win this World Cup. Your thoughts on Darren Sammy?
You know, when we first opened up, I was hoping that with Darren Sammy's experience of 2 wins in a World Cup would have put him in the driver's seat to direct our team. I am now thinking that he is overreacting. You saw him on the sideline trying to tell Powell.
Yeah, but he never did that in this game.
No, because maybe people got to him. But once you have established something, it follows you through. Jason Charles, and I just heard Brother Johnson Charles, I just heard Brother John say, is not the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, to the world, Johnson Charles is our problem.
In your opinion?
No, wait, listen, let me finish it. This can only be in my opinion. It can't be in somebody else's opinion. I listened to Rudy Cohen in England saying he was selected to play in the test match. Went to the Oval, did his warm-up, and the great Sir Garfield Sobers said to him, Brother Rudy, they call him Cuz, even though my man is sick, I'm going to have to play him over you because I know him and I know how he bowl. I am not used to you. Listen to what I'm saying. If the fellows don't go under the mango tree and do their discussion, it's obvious Charles and King didn't do that. King got hurt because he was under stress, under trauma. You just heard Brother Dale tell you about Sir Garfield Sobers and Kanai. It's a fact. Have you ever been sitting in a car, a person driving the car, and you wish to God he would stop and give you the wheel? Because you are so scared with him driving. This is what Charles does to the rest of the team. You are up there batting, and like Sir Garfield said, you make everybody else nervous. Gentlemen, once you lose your nerve, it's over. So it has to be that is why Greenwich and Haynes were so powerful. They knew each other. Haynes could start a statement and the other guy finish it with every time because they knew each other. I am telling everybody, the cohesiveness that we think is on the West Indies team is not there. Mind power training is necessary. And going into the US game, you heard what the other panelists said from Sri Lanka. The US team is made up of professionals from all over the world. They are not ordinary players. So they are ahead of us at the West Indies because these fellows know how to think. So they're going into the game against us. They are going in stronger than us mentally. West Indies need not to just get their game, to get their mental state up. We cannot drop Jason Charles now, and I said it in the last game. If we didn't drop him then, and if God forbid he made runs, we cannot drop him for the rest of the series. So I won't. Remember, I said I'm going to take back. I won't say nothing more about Charles. However, Charles is our problem. Thank you, sir.
You know, I mean, not everyone can agree with that, seeing that Johnson Charles has been the second leading run scorer only behind Pooran in this World Cup. And if we were to take him out, then West Indies would have not gotten to England based on and what, because you don't play Shea Hope, so you don't know what Shea Hope can do. Johnson Charles is the one that had gotten the chance. He played, he got runs, and his runs help us to get where we are along with the rest of the team. And Brandon King had a responsibility. Nobody can stop you from doing what you ought to do. Your responsibility as the third man in the team, the leader, the third captain in the team, it is established. You have to get the onus. Since Rodman Powell came and took back over the captaincy, King has been a shell of himself. I don't think Johnson Charles is responsible for the inadequate form of Brandon King, and he needs to rise to the occasion. And his injuries is unfortunate, but if he does, he traveled with the team to Barbados yesterday, and from our reports, he will not play tonight. But when we get to South Africa, and if he does come back into the team, he will have to rise to the occasion. He can't. He and Charles has been opening the batting in the last year. Vice versa. Sometimes they ask Kyle Mears to open. Then for a period of time, it was Brandon King and Johnson Charles. And if he had not had a negative impact on him, then why now we believe he does have a negative impact? It's hard to grasp based on the evidence that is presented before us. Mr. Eid, as we look to the United States, is your adopted home, how much of a chance does they have against a West Indies team that the coach rightfully say the defeat against England doesn't mean that the World Cup is over for them and their spirit is in no form or fashion dampened?
Well, I believe the United States have shown that they have grits and they have the fight. And but for one or two errors, they could certainly have beaten teams that they played against in addition to the Pakistan team. The unfortunate thing about the USA team is that they rely very heavily on the aggressiveness of Stephen Taylor in the opening position. Now, if Stephen Taylor failed to get going, then it put a tremendous strain on those coming behind. And we have, beyond Stephen Taylor, we've got Aaron Jones. Now, Jones is explosive, but under right circumstances and against the right bowling, he fails to make the connections. So they are looking for Stephen Taylor to get things moving quickly, And then hopefully Aaron Jones can come in and add to that. In addition though, Goose has demonstrated that he is a quality and a class player. And if he can get in and settle in early enough, then USA can build a substantial total. Unfortunately, their bowling sometimes does not always live up to what's required of them. Netravalka is one bowler who has shown that he can rise to the occasion. But Ali Khan has a reputation of an expectation that he can produce. But we've seen that Ali Khan has had one good match. Other than that, when he was required to stand up, he failed. And so we can see that Jasdeep Singh again, they all had one good game where their economy rate was probably 5 or 6. I think that was probably against Canada or Pakistan. But outside of that, they struggle to produce what should be done. But if they perform as well as they did against Pakistan, then the West Indies could certainly be in trouble. But nonetheless, I'm looking at it and thinking realistically, if you roll the dice, it has to be that the West Indies should take care of the United States today. But it could be a very troubling time for the West Indies because South Africa has won, England has won. Those are two teams in the same group as the West Indies, which means the onus now is on the West Indies to come out. And not only do they have to beat USA in a bad way, they also have to take on South Africa, who already have the bit between their teeth because they will have played. They have not only do they have the point, but they have a match coming up today where they could certainly go 4 points up, which then put even further pressure on the West Indies to produce. So I'm expecting a good, clean, and exciting match in this one.
Absolutely. Honorary Secretary of the Hall of Fame, Mr. Brown, during the 2012 World Cup, West Indies 3 consecutive wins and went on to win the World Cup. During the 2014 edition, 3 consecutive wins, exit at the semi-final mainly because of rain and against Sri Lanka. 2016, 3 consecutive wins. They end up being champions after the mammoth victory against England. 2024, 4 consecutive wins. Are we about to witness history once again? The defeat against England. Is it a little blemish? And every team does have a bad game in a tournament. But with the sequence of how they have been successful in T20 World Cup, they're on their way. Your thoughts on that?
Yes, thank you, sir. Right now, putting it simple, West Indies must win the other 2 games, the 2 games coming up. If they lose to the United States, it's all over. It's finished. They cannot advance in the tournament. This game is a must-win game. And the next game is a must-win game. But you have to win this one to get to that one. There's no 2 ways about it. They must win tonight, of course. And England and South Africa will play each other. So to follow the sequence now, you have to root for England to beat South Africa, because if it's the other way around, West Indies is going at the best scenario. West Indies will be in a net run rate battle to see who goes through and advances to the semi-final. And you don't want that, because right now we have the worst run rate in the group. So we have to win, and we have to hope that England beats South Africa, because if the two of them end up with 2 points with a South Africa victory, and South Africa end up with 4 points, and England has 2 with the United States left to play, England is going to beat United States, end up with 4 points, so they would join South Africa. And then when we play the US, we have 2, and when we play South Africa, we get 2 more. That puts us on 4, along with England and South Africa, and it's the 2 best net run rates that's going to advance the teams. So it's imperative
and by virtue of the defeat and the inadequate over of Romario Shepherd, West Indies have a negative run rate, very negative, even below the US.
Yes, sir. And what we have to realize, the bowling is a bowling unit, as we all know. And I'll just point out this, if you allow me. The 3rd over of England's inning, after Shepherd came on and bowled the 2nd over, he leaked out 12 runs. Hussain came back on for his 2nd over. The 3rd ball of that over, there was a leading edge by a shot by Salt. Hussain thought that Alzarri Joseph could have fielded the ball, and the camera focused on his face, and you could see frustration on him. You saw it. I'm not guessing. I'm not trying to read his mind. You saw his facial expression. The very next ball, he bowled to Salt. Salt edged it through to Pooran, and Pooran dropped it. And Hussain, you could see again, maybe quite rightly, but he did not keep himself under control per se, but he was angry. Okay, that's a very key moment in the ball game, because if Salt, we don't say if, coulda, woulda, should have, but we don't know that we lost the game right at that point when Salt was dropped. And Hussain bowled another over. He bowled well, but after the 5th over, he never bowled again until the 15th over. The 15th, normally he bowls out by the 12th over. He'll bowl, he'll bowl all of his overs, except for that. I think the very first game when Powell was, very shaky with his captaincy and handling of the bowling. The other problem, again, is that our faster bowlers, including Alzarri Joseph, some bowlers can bang that ball in short, and it rises up like a steeple at the batsman, and it's hard for them to control the hook. People like Rabada are skillful to do it. When you go up against England, and as Phil Salt said, he took his time against the spin bowlers. He took his time and targeted the fast bowlers, including Alzarri Joseph. And just to point it out, the fast bowlers gave up their runs. And of course, Shepherd, really added to it. But Alzarri Joseph, 2 overs and 3 balls, he gave up 32 runs. And Shepherd, as we know, gave up 40 in his 2 overs. And Russell was a little bit better, giving up 21 runs. But the spinners gave up a total of 86 runs in their 11 overs. So they did their job. They were not you couldn't expect them to hold it down, giving up those 18 runs or whatever. But Hussain, Moti, and Chase, no fault can be taken of them. Hussain gave up 35, Moti 32, and Chase 19 from 3. And they did their job. I believe that they did their job. We were let down by the pace bowlers. And I'll just say this and then end. Mr. The captain, England made a mistake and put on Liam Livingstone to bowl. And Powell took him to town. 3 sixes. The very last ball of the over, I think it's 20 runs came off that over from Livingston. 20 runs he took off him. He hit a two sixes at that ball, then another 6. And here comes the last ball. He tosses it up wide of the half stump. And it's the last ball of his over. And the captain chased it and tried to hit him over the fence. And of course, was out caught. I think that was a very crucial and critical moment of the game. Because after that dismissal, we ended up losing Powell, Russell, and Pooran in the space of 11 deliveries for like 5 runs. That is right in that window. We lost all momentum. And the only reason we scored the 180 is because Rutherford kept his mind calm, kept himself cool, and brought them to a respectable total. It's all due to Rutherford. And you give the captain credit, but he lost it a little bit on that very last delivery from Livingston. He had already gotten 20 runs, and the man threw it up wide. You had to go out there to go get it, reaching for it. And he went and fell for the bait. So England spent 20 runs to get Powell's wicket, and it was well worth it for them to do that.
Absolutely. Indeed it was. Indeed it was. Hall of Famer John Melbourne, your thoughts and the chances of the United States and, just to run down in your own way the captaincy of Powell in that game against England. And also, while you talk, we will show the pictures of of Obey McCoy, and you could offer some thoughts on him and the need for him to play tonight. Go ahead.
Thank you again, Junior. Yes, well, let's hope that the game against England is our bad game. Because, as Dale mentioned, Pooran dropped a catch, but he had 2 chances that he missed. And it's so funny. As a writer, my headline after the England game would have been Phil rubs salt in West Indies. And again, as Dale just mentioned, the loss of Powell, Pooran, and Russell between 15 and 17 over. And those were the guys at that point who you would have expected to be going for the big shots and motoring to put West Indies in a formidable position. As I said earlier, at 80 without loss after the 10th over, I was looking for West Indies to go past 200 runs easily. But the loss of these 3 between 15 and 17 blunted our drive towards the 200 runs. And again, let us not discount the US. They have been playing above their heads as far as I'm concerned so far. And I am sure they will be looking to beat the West Indies tonight. So we have to go into this game with our heads in the right place. So we'll probably see Shea Hope and McCoy back in the 11 for this game, and we will see what happens. But hopefully, as Dale also mentioned, net run rate could have a say in who goes to the semi-final. Well, hopefully West Indies win tonight and win comfortably, or should I say easily, to set up the game against South Africa. And that's my take on it.
Absolutely. Michael Chambers, and I'll put it up on the screen for the viewers in a moment while you talk. This is from the interim captain of the US, and Aaron Jones. He's a Barbadian, and it's very interesting that the US will play the West Indies there in Barbados with a local captain in them since Egypt of Patel, which is originally from India. And we're waiting because I want to bring up what the captain said on the screen for our viewers, and it will be coming shortly. Yes, on the screen there, as you could see, viewers, and I'll read from Mr. Chambers. This is what Jones said. I think it starts with the belief that we could beat anybody. We always believed before the World Cup that we could beat bigger teams or better teams, and obviously we showed it against Pakistan. It's going to be the same mindset going into the Super 8 now, starting. Mike, your thoughts on what the captain said there, and you know, just articulate for the viewers the chances of the US or the lack thereof.
Thank you again, sir. Let me comment on what the English players said. They said it was Pollard's consultation that got them the victory over the West Indies. That's a powerful statement, you know. And then
and not to cut you, and I'll bring you and myself on camera for this. It is widely publicized, and I am one of those that do it, with the smile of Archer and Chris Jordan and Pollard seeing their own team went down, and many of those in social media spaces said that they are backbiters and traitors. Go ahead now.
No, I wasn't putting that comment up to put Mr. Pollard as a backbiter, because I would have done the same thing. Money talks, and the other thing more.
But with Pollard, during the presidency of your good friend, Mr. Cameron, articulate and was the chief behind our West Indies team walking out of India. And we owed India 40 million US, which Cameron had to go back to India and beg on his knees for India to forgive us. We would have been finished in 2014 if India had carried that lawsuit along. And Pollard was given a way back with the presidency and the vice presidency of Skerrick and Shallow. He came back, never got his way, because it is alleged, it is not by us. We don't go dive, and we heard some things that he wanted Odin Simit to sign with his manager, and because Odin Simit did not, he was held hostage while Pollard was captain, and the opportunities was not being equally given to him. This is a serial person that when he doesn't get his way, he move against our great West Indies team.
No, I wasn't putting that out there to get all of this, because if you put that out there now, then here where I'm going to go with this. The lawsuit against West Indies was quashed because the Cricket Hall of Fame got involved with inductees from India and begged them to ask India to drop the lawsuit. That's why that lawsuit was dropped, because of the Cricket Hall of Fame. But let me go back to what I was saying. I'm going back to the mango tree. These guys, the West Indies players, have to sit down and make plans. You remember what you said, Powell said, the bowlers didn't bowl to what was outlined for them to do. That means the fellows' heads are no good. They need mind power. Let me go further. Pollard gave England this formula. Here is the formula. We're going to make 200 runs. 8 runs out of this over. We're going to take 8 runs out of this over and 12 runs out of the next over. They went into a game with a plan. 8 runs. Yeah, I wonder if you see the maths. That's 200 runs. So England figured out how they were going to get their 200 runs out of the West Indies. Pollard gave them the formula. 8 runs off the spin bowlers. So how you make 8 runs off the spin bowler? You push through the gap for 4. So you get 2 fours. How you get 12 off the pace bowlers? When they bounce, you push them over your head for a 6. 2 sixes out of each over. 2 fours out of each. England had a plan to make 200 runs. So we are saying if West Indies had their plan, they would have needed a minimum of 250 runs to beat England. We did not plan. And I said it at the day before. If Shea Hope is not in the team, we would lose. That's just my take on how it's going.
We got into it just now, and I forgive you. But to answer my question directly, I think it starts with the belief that we could beat anybody. That's an interim statement from the US interim captain. Your thoughts on that?
And this is what I'm saying. It's all in the mind. We have to go under the tree now and come up with a plan. West Indies, you have to come up with a plan. What are we going to do? The captain gave his idea. I think imagination, visualization, that means the United States have ain't too many mango trees in the US. So now they are down in the West Indies. Trust me, they have found a mango tree to sit under and are now putting their plans in place. This is what we are going to do to beat the West Indies. I think, and that is so important, are the West Indians thinking? And we saw that they were not thinking. The middle order batsmen lost their confidence in themselves. Like Mr. Dale said, the last ball of the over. How do you get out on the last ball of the over? Notice, gentlemen, every batsman gets out on the last ball of the over. It is a common thing. So if Brother Powell was doing his mind power training, he would have counted the balls, ball outside the half stump, you cover your wicket, that ball go through, so you have another over to face. But he wasn't doing his mind power thing. I heard a statement that he says, the day before, he was on the field and he was wondering what he going to do with Mackay bowling so well when Shepherd come back. You are on the field and you're thinking about the next game. That means his head needs straightening. All of them. US will win if they have their mind process on winning. Any team that goes out and want this game will get it. But it has to be all in the mind. It's not going to be won with the bat. It's going to be won with the heads.
Absolutely. Let's look on some of our comments. Samu, I never forget defeat from England now. Try Windies to reach in final and win final. Fulfill my dream. And our good friend here, Atlanta, is back with us. And really rally round the West Indies now and forever. Rally round the West Indies. We never say never. Mr. Yeet, how, in your closing statement, how do you envision West Indies beating the United States tonight? Predict and articulate for the viewers a margin, one that we expected against Uganda. Will we see the same ruthlessness against the United States tonight?
Well, let me put it this way, Mr. Codlin. The United States team performance against India, they bowled their best when they played against India. The question in my head is, was it the pitch or was it that desire to do well against a top-ranked team? Now, with that in their mind or their heads, it is possible that United States can come out and perform in that same manner and really take West Indies, down a peg or two. However, for West Indies to do well, they definitely have to, as you put it, take United States to the cleaners, a la Uganda. And they will only be able to do that if they put the right team on the field today. And that team should certainly include Ben McCoy and Shai Hope. As far as Johnson Charles, I think, it is not unseen that most of these night games, he has not done as well as he could have done in those day games. So I'm watching, I'm hoping, and of course I'll rally around the West Indies, but I'll be looking to see that United States give West Indies a good competition tonight.
Mr. Brown, your thoughts on the importance of McCoy playing tonight and what you expect him to execute against the United States?
Yes, thank you. McCoy, I fully expect him to play, even more so now than ever before. He must play, and I hope whoever has the head to go and speak to whomever will do that. And the other thing, when he plays, don't have him bowling those short pitch deliveries. Tell the pace bowlers, don't bowl those short pitch deliveries. Bowl to take wickets and use your skill to cut the ball off the pitch. Because if you bowl short with your slower balls and the batsmen sit down and wait for you, they are going to hit you over the fence. And as I believe Mr. Chambers articulated, you have to be thinking, you have to come out with a plan. Your mind has to be ready to adapt to the situation and make the necessary adjustments. And with their experience in the IPL, I want to see it come front now. You play well for the money, play well for the pride now. I see yesterday England brought back Archer just to bowl at Pooran and to bowl at him wide outside the off stump with the ball moving away. And Pooran would not even retake his guard and bat further towards the off stump so that he could reach deliveries. He just kept heaving at them. And then finally, when one came a little bit closer, he feathered it right through to the wicketkeeper. That does not make any sense. See the man off. You hear Phil Salt say, even though the spinners were not as penetrative as before, he did not take unnecessary risks against them. He didn't. And then he himself made up his mind without sharing that with Johnny Bairstow. He made up his mind when Shepherd come on, I am going to take him to the cleaners. And he didn't tell Bairstow that. Why didn't he tell Bairstow? He said he didn't want Bairstow to tell him, take it easy, don't rush, man, we have this thing under control. He wanted to drive a nail in that coffin, and Shepherd was the opportunity to do it, and he took it upon himself. We have to show that we are thinking. It's one thing to lose, but don't lose with a whimper. The United States is not supposed to beat us. Go out there and beat them. Just go out there and play your best and don't worry who you're not going to make bowl because you don't like this or you don't like that, and he come from this island, so you're going to make him bowl or whatever foolishness you're coming up with. Stick to your plan and adjust accordingly if it comes to that point.
Very strong words, very strong closing words there from the Honorary Secretary of the Cricket Hall of Fame. Hall of Famer John Melbourne articulate the need for West Indies tonight to discipline the United States. Some believe they have reached too far and now they need to be put out of their misery. Are the West Indies capable of inflicting a severe beating on the United States tonight? And the need for McCoy to be in the team, and also we are certain now, word just coming in, that Shea Hope will be opening the batting along with Charles tonight. What do you expect of him?
In a few of the games, Azari Joseph looked angry when he bowled, and I think West Indies have to come into this game angry that they're going to bring the A game, as Leon likes to say, and defeat the United States handily. And it's not unexpected that Shea Hope was coming in to open with Johnson Charles because Brandon King isn't well. And so, hopefully we will see how well Shea does at home and in front of, I don't know how much spin bowling he'll be facing, but as I said, I was expecting Shea to be in the team in the game against England in order to offset the spin of Rashid and Ali. He's probably the best spin bowling batsman in the West Indies. So, in any case, I cannot understand why he has not been in the 11 from game one. But tonight, as I say, West Indies have to come with their A game and deliver in a massive way, as they did against Afghanistan. That will set up that last game in the Super 8 against South Africa. So West Indies, we certainly will be rallying around the West Indies tonight in the hope that they get past the United States comfortably.
Very much so. Very much so. From our viewers here in Jamaica, in the United States, in Sri Lanka, in England, in Canada, just about anywhere that you're watching from, it was an honor and a privilege to have you join in our show today as we discuss and look forward to a very important World Cup game against the United States. Michael Chambers, your final comments. The West Indies struggled in our Zimbabwe just a year ago against the United States. It was a big struggle. That's the last time they met. How do you look now with this game? It's a complete different team. It's a team that was beaten by their old enemy, England, and might be coming with fire in their eye. Can the United States withstand the wrath that the West Indies will be looking to inflict upon them tonight?
I am going to disagree with you a little bit. I don't think West Indies is coming with no wrath. I think they're going to eat a few mangoes and they are going to be coming calm and relaxed. And they are going to be expected, now that you are telling me that Shea Hope is in the team, it is now going to put a relaxing soother over the entire squad. So it don't make no difference who open with Shea. we will defeat the United States of America. And it's going to be, I am thinking, a substantial defeat because we have the power to do it. But if we go in with any kind of wrath, I don't want to see. I want to see them calm and relaxed. Those are my words.
Viewers, we are asking you to call the number that you're seeing at the bottom of your screen and express how you can help this academy of ours. We're greatly in need of your help, and we hope that you will look to make a significant contribution towards this academy as we seek to deliver for less fortunate cricketers here in Jamaica and in the rest of the Caribbean. You can type at the top of your WhatsApp, type there where you see Ask Meta AI or search, type West Indies Cricket Development Academy. That will take you to information on our academy, and it will also lead you to our website. You can contact us at the number at the bottom of your screen, and you can also make contact with us via email at westindiesacademy@zuzumail.com. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you. We thank the Cricket Hall of Fame, which is our main sponsor. We thank the executive chair of the Cricket Hall of Fame, Michael Chambers, that you are now seeing on your camera, for being with us again. We thank the honorary secretary of the Cricket Hall of Fame, Mr. Dale Brown. We thank recently nominated and slated to be inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame, Mr. Dennis Eat, for being with us. He's also a fellow journalist, and we thank the Hall of Famer and sports journalist across discipline, Mr. John Melbourne, for being with us to share his thought. Also, we thank everyone in the comments and everyone that watch. Please remember to subscribe. Please remember to watch the ads on this stream, because it will go towards us getting some money to help with the overhead costs and the other expense that has to go with this academy of ours. From all of us here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy, it was an honor and a privilege to bring this show to you today, and we look forward as we rally with the West Indies in giving United States a telling blow tonight. From all of us here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy, goodbye and thank you for joining. Pleasant viewing.